Now let us learn colligative properties. What are colligative properties? So colligative properties are those properties which depend on the number of solute particles and not on its nature. So the number of solute particles are important here. So which depends only on the number of solute particles and not on their nature. So those properties are called colligative properties. The important colligative properties are, first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure, second one is elevation of boiling point, third one is depression of freezing point, and fourth one is osmotic pressure. So these are the four important colligative properties. These properties depends only on the number of solute particles and not on the nature of the solute particles. So that is a peculiarity of colligative properties. So first of all, let's see what is relative lowering of vapor pressure. So the first colligative property is relative lowering of vapor pressure. So we have learned that when a non-volatile solute is added, to a volatile solvent, we have seen the vapor pressure of the solution, the vapor pressure of the resulting solution will be lowered. So that we have already studied. So when a non-volatile solute is added to a volatile solvent, the vapor pressure of the resulting solution will be lowered. That means that is actually less than the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So we can see a closed container. So if this is a closed container where pure solvent A is taken, pure solvent A which is volatile in nature, and we know that the surface molecule will escape as vapors and that will evaporate and causes a vapor pressure, and that vapor pressure is known as P0A. And a non-volatile solute is added. A non-volatile solute that can be represented by B. So that B is non-volatile in nature and this will not create any kind of vapor pressure. So a non-volatile solute is added to a pure solvent A. The resulting solution is this, and this resulting solution will have components A and B. So components A and B are there in the resulting solution. And we have studied this component B is taking some places, or that B will occupy some spaces on the surface of the liquid, and less availability of components A in this case. That means A molecules will, or A components A will be evaporating very less. The vaporization of component A is less in this case, and the vapor pressure is also less, and that can be represented by PA. So a non-volatile solute is there in the solution. A non-volatile solute is there, and that non-volatile solute will occupy some space on the surface of the liquid, and there is less availability of the space for component A. So there is less vapors are produced in this case, and less vapor pressure is there, and that vapor pressure is denoted by PA. So that PA is actually less than the vapor pressure of the pure component A. That means that PA is less than P0A. So that is why we have studied non-volatile solute is added to a volatile solvent. The vapor pressure of the resulting solution will be lowered. So that means PA is less than P0A. So where PA is actually the vapor pressure of the solution, where the vapor pressure is only due to the presence of component A. That is why it is PA. And P0A is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent A. So PA is less than P0A. Now let us see what is PA according to Raoult's law. So PA is less than P0A. PA is less than P0A, and we know that P0A is more than PA. So we can say there is a difference in vapor pressure that is represented by delta P, that is equal to P0A minus PA. So delta P is equal to P0A minus PA, and that is called lowering of vapor pressure. So lowering of vapor pressure delta P, lowering of vapor pressure delta P is equal to P0A minus PA. P0A is vapor pressure of pure solvent A. Vapor pressure of pure solvent, and PA is vapor pressure of the solution. Vapor pressure of the solution. So delta P is actually lowering of vapor pressure, that is equal to P0A minus PA. Then according to Raoult's law, PA is equal to P0A XA. Therefore, delta P is equal to P0A minus P0A XA. That is equal to P0A into 1 minus XA. That is 1 minus XA is equal to XB. That is XA plus XB is equal to 1. Therefore, 1 minus XA is equal to XB. Then delta P by P0A is equal to XB. So delta P by P0A, delta P by P0A is equal to, that is called a relative lowering of vapor pressure. So delta P by P0A equals XB. Delta P by P0A is equal to, that is called a relative lowering of vapor pressure, and XB is the mole fraction of solute B. So XB is the mole fraction of solute B. So relative lowering of vapor pressure is represented by delta P by P0A. Delta P is actually lowering of vapor pressure. So lowering of vapor pressure divided by vapor pressure of the pure solvent, that is called a relative lowering of vapor pressure. That is actually equal to the mole fraction of the solute. That means mole fraction of B. So now we can write delta P by P0A equals XB. So XB is equal to mole fraction of component B is equal to NB divided by Na plus NB. That means number of moles of B divided by number of moles of A plus number of moles of B. Therefore, we can write delta P by P0A is equal to NB divided by Na plus NB. So for dilute solutions, NB is very less than Na. So for dilute solution, NB, number of moles of the solute, will be very less than Na. Therefore, we can neglect NB in the denominator. Therefore, we can write NB divided by Na. So, delta P by P0A equals NB by Na. So, instead of NB, we can write WB by MB. And instead of Na, we can write WA by MA. So, number of moles is equal to mass by molar mass. That is the equation. So, number of moles equals mass by molar mass. So, number of moles of B equals mass of B divided by molar mass of B. Number of moles of A equals mass of A divided by molar mass of A. Therefore, we can write, instead of NB, we can write WB by MB whole divided by WA divided by MA. So, delta P divided by P0A is equal to WB MA divided by WB into MA divided by WA into MB. So, this is the equation, this is the expression for relative lowering of vapor pressure. So, if we know all the values except MB, so MB is actually molar mass of solute B. So, molar mass of solute can be determined by knowing all the other values. So, delta P by P0A, delta P, P0A, WB, MA and WA. If we know all the other values, we can easily find out the molar mass of the solute. So, MB is molar mass of the solute, MA is molar mass of solvent, and WB is equal to, WB is mass of solute, WA equals mass of solvent. Then delta P is equal to, or delta P means lowering of vapor pressure. P0A is vapor pressure of pure solvent. So, delta P by P0A is actually relative lowering of vapor pressure. So, relative lowering of vapor pressure equals WB into MA divided by WA into MB. So, MB and MA are molar masses of solute and solvent. WB and WA are mass of solute and solvent. Delta P is lowering of vapor pressure, P0A is vapor pressure of pure solvent. So, this is the expression for lowering of vapor pressure, relative lowering of vapor pressure, which can be used to find out the value of MB. So, normally we are using this expression for finding out the molar mass of solute. So, molar mass of solute can be found out by using this expression, that is relative lowering of vapor pressure. So, this is about relative lowering of vapor pressure.